Salam alaikum. Great to be with you. Thank you very much for sharing. Your family came 28 years ago? Wow. That would be, which year would that be? 1995. So he can do math. He's already better than Justin Trudeau, the finance minister. But more importantly, the reason I pointed out 1995 was your arrival is that's the year my wife came to Canada. Yeah, 1995, exact same story. Her father was a banker in Venezuela. They fled for a better life. He had to trade his banker's suit for a pair of overalls and jumped on the back of a pickup truck to go out and pick fruit. And they lived in, how many, 6 of you in a 2-bedroom apartment? A small apartment in East End, working class Montreal, but now they're successful. They built up an incredible life. Her dad is a co-owner now in a pharmacy. He's a very successful businessman. Her brother is a soldier. Her other brother a carpenter. Her sister is a nurse. So this is the Canadian dream, right? Arpan lived the same dream. And Kelly and I, we were born here, but we grew up the same way. You know, I was born to a teenage mother who put me up for adoption. I think Musa was adopted too, right? I don't know if in your tradition, but the truth is that it was 2 school teachers that gave me my start. And they told me that in Canada, it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters where you're going. It doesn't matter who you know. It matters what you can do. And that's what the country my wife came to is the country we want for our kids and yours. But in shock, it's not the country we see when we look around us today. After 8 years of Trudeau, 1.5 million people are eating at a food bank. 1 in 5 are skipping meals. Work doesn't pay. You make it, he takes it. Housing costs have doubled. Double the rent, double the mortgage payment, double the needed down payment in order to buy a house. Double trouble for anyone trying to buy a house in Canada after 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the average rent was $950. Now it's well over $2,000. In Toronto, it's over $3,000. And those homes are in dangerous communities. All of a sudden, in places where people didn't even lock their doors 8 years ago, they're now scared to go to the local corner store because of shootings, gangbangers, drug addicts, car thefts. This is not the Canada we know and love. But the good news is that Canada was not like this before Justin Trudeau, and it will not be like this after he's gone. And you know, the values of the Muslim people are the values of conservatives, values of faith, family, and freedom. These are the values that we celebrate today in the independence of Pakistan. They're the values upon which we're going to rebuild our country and restore the country that we know and love. We're going to do it by bringing home lower prices, by axing the carbon tax and balancing the budget to end the inflationary deficits that drive up the cost of living and, consequently, interest rates. We've seen the government print $600 billion of new cash in 3 years. That's a 32% increase in the money supply, even while the real economy in the same period has grown 4%. So we have 32% more money buying 4% more goods. In other words, the money is growing 8 times faster than the stuff it buys. No wonder we have inflation. Everything gets bid up in price. It's great for the billionaire class who's fancying gold watches and mansions and stocks and art collections and wine collections all get inflated. So they're richer. But it's terrible for the working class. It is a transfer whose paychecks are literally eaten alive by this inflation. It's a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts that we see happening right now. The good news is that we can cap the spending, cut the waste, balance the budget to bring down inflation and interest rates, and get our central bank back to the singular task of protecting the purchasing power of our money and keeping inflation low. We're going to bring home powerful paychecks by making work pay. Canada punishes work with high taxes. If you're a single mom earning $60,000 a year with 3 kids, you earn an extra $1, you lose 80 cents to clawbacks of your child benefit, income tax, payroll tax, gas tax to get to work. Of the $25 wage that she earns on the next hour work, she loses $20 to clawbacks and taxes. So her take home is $5 an hour in that income range. We punish work, we get less work, we keep people trapped in poverty. I will reform the clawbacks and cut the taxes so that we can bring home more of each dollar we earn, and hard work once again pays off. Speaking of hard work, it's hard work to become a doctor, a nurse, an engineer. So many Pakistanis came here with professional designations they cannot use in this country. We have 20,000 doctors and 32,000 nurses who can't practice in our hospitals because there's no way for them to prove their qualifications. In the trades, we have a red seal exam to prove you're a carpenter, electrician, plumber. We've had it for 70 years. We have no such thing in the professions. A Poilievre government will bring in a blue seal exam so immigrant professionals can take a test, prove they're qualified, get to work within 60 days. We'll bring in 30,000 small study loans for immigrants that need to take time off work to study up to the Canadian standard so that they can get qualified and work. And we're going to make it possible for future immigrants to begin working towards credentialing before they even arrive in Canada, so that when they get off the plane, they get right to work. There's more doctors, more and we're going to bring home our paychecks. Why are we sending our money to foreign dictatorships to buy oil and gas from abroad? We have the third biggest supply of oil on earth. Why are we bringing in Tesla batteries from China when we have the 6th biggest supply of lithium for batteries right here at home? We don't mine a single tablespoon of it. Why? Because it takes 25 years to get a mine approved in Canada. We can't get a pipeline approved. We had 15 different natural gas liquefaction facilities proposed in 2015. 0 got a permit and got completed. 0. And so when the Japanese and the Germans come and ask for our natural gas, Trudeau says, there's no business case. Go call Vladimir Putin. He'll give you the gas you need. And that's how he's paying for his war, with gas that we could be selling from Canadians. So here's my common sense plan. We'll repeal the anti-energy laws, speed up permitting. We're bringing a law that protects the environment, public safety, consults for nations, but gets decisions made so that we can use our own oil, harvest our own lithium for electric car batteries, liquefy natural gas, ship it off to Asia so we can close dirty coal fire plants in Asia and ship it off to Europe to break European dependence on Putin and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people in this country. Bring it home. Major advantages for natural gas here in China. You know how you liquefy gas to get it on a ship? Anybody know? Any engineers here? You know? You cool it down. What do we have in Canada? Cold weather. It's our most abundant resource. In fact, Ishak, it was so cold in Ottawa last winter, Justin Trudeau was seen with his hands in his own pockets. But we also need people to have homes. And the reason that housing is so much more expensive here than anywhere in the G7, than almost anywhere in the world, the reason why Toronto is now rated by UBS, the Swiss bank, as the single worst housing bubble on the planet, when it didn't even rank 8 years ago, is because we have too few homes. We have the fewest number of homes per capita in the G7, even though we have the most land to build on. With all this land, why can't we house our people? Government gatekeepers. It takes 8-9 years to get permitting and zoning approvals to build new homes. These costs are $350,000 for every new home sold in Toronto. That's not the cost of wood or labor or land or even profit. It's the cost of government, bureaucracy, blocking home building. A Poilievre-led government is going to get the local bureaucrats out of the way. I'll say to them, you want federal money? You have to speed up building permits and free up land so that we can build. I will require every local government permit 15% more home building per year, or they will lose their federal grants. But those that beat the 15% target will get a building bonus. So we reward fast permitting. We're also going to require every federally funded transit station be pre-approved for high-density apartments so our youth and seniors could live right next to the bus or train. We'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings and thousands of acres of federal land for the construction of affordable housing, and we'll bring in more skilled tradesmen and tradeswomen as immigrants to come here and help us build those beautiful homes for the future. So that your generation can afford a home. And we're going to bring home safety. The insanity of releasing these repeat violent offenders onto the streets after they offend and offend and offend and re-offend. In Vancouver, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times because they're released the same day they're arrested. Sometimes they arrest the same criminal 3 times in a day. It's true. You almost picture the criminal in the backseat of the car saying, "Hey, buddy, can you hurry it up and I gotta get back on the street. I got another appointment at 1 p.m. The good news is we actually don't have a lot of criminals in Canada. The bad news is they're very productive. They're the most productive part of our economy right now. Well, the answer is very simple. The repeat violent offender should stay in jail. I will repeal Trudeau's catch and release law, bring in a new law that the repeat violent offenders will be ineligible for bail or parole. It will be jail, not bail, jail, not bail for repeat violent offenders. Let's make it safe again. And we're going to make it free. We're going to bring home our freedom once again to this country. The freedom of religion is among those freedoms. It is not the Canadian way for the Prime Minister to tell a Muslim man that his values are America because he wants to pass on his traditional teachings to his children and ask that schools stick to teaching math, reading, and writing, the basics. Isn't that what schools are supposed to be teaching anyway? That's what we want. And we want every parent to have the freedom to raise their kids with their own values. And we want freedom of expression. So my common sense plan is to repeal the internet censorship law, C11. It's to ensure that we never have a mandatory digital ID, that the government never creates a digital currency that would allow them to monitor how you spend your money. Our people, our members of parliament, and ministers should work for this country, so we will call a full public inquiry into Beijing's interference in our democracy. We will set up a foreign influence registry so that we can track any foreign government that is paying manipulators to influence our system, and I'll ban all of my MPs and ministers from any involvement in the World Economic Forum. This is how we bring home control of our lives to this country. My friends, this is common sense. This is the Canada we know and love. A Canada where it doesn't matter if your name is Chang or Charles, Singh or Smith, Poilievre or Patel, Martin or Muhammad, Isaac or Ishak. If you're prepared to work hard and support your family, you should be able to fulfill all of your dreams and aspirations. In the words of the great Canadian Prime Minister, John Diefenbaker, I am a Canadian, a free Canadian, free to speak without fear, free to stand for what I think right, free to oppose what I think wrong, free to worship God in my own way, free to choose those who govern our country. This heritage of freedom I pledge to uphold for myself and all of mankind. Thank you very much.
All right, this time I want to invite up MP Kelly and MP Urban and as well.